and the new 1.18.10 out now, guys. Skulks, frogs, behind the experimental toggle. Other changes, parity, right now. Hey there guys, Skippy here from Skippy6 Gaming, guys, coming to you from, this is what used to be the beta world is now the real world in the normal version. Guys, if you enjoy this sort of content, news about Minecraft Bedrock and update stuff, consider subscribing to my channel where we do, all the news updates. So all of the stuff we've been talking about in the beta up till now is actually going to be added to the game. We have frogs, tadpoles, and frog lights. These are going to be behind the experimental toggle till. The experimental toggle still. If you turn it on, you can have it. If you don't, you don't. And it's simple as that. The regular changes hit a lot of Iron Golem stuff, simple parity changes, things like that. We're going to read the actual changelog right now. I've only cut it down to anything that's actually changed in the game. I won't be covering any technical upgrades. There is a link to the changelog in the description below if you want to read all of that for yourself. We have about 4 pages. It's pretty cool, you know. It's not that boring to read. We'll go through it, probably be about 10-15, and skip it to the end of the video if you want to go over all the stuff, because we're going to check out the thing. So it starts with this tweet from J Megaspud right here. You know, the usual, guys. I was kind of expecting this. I knew this was coming sometime soon because the betas are getting pretty thin. So we're gonna go right here. 1.18.10 Bedrock, simple changes added. Globe banner pattern. Iron golems now show the different degrees of cracking. That's a Java parity thing. Updated several more textures to match the Java edition. New experimental features, the frogs, the tadpoles, and that stuff. And bug fixes, parity. So right here we have our simple changes. World settings can now be changed directly from the realms, just like on local worlds. So you don't have to download the world, guys, change it, re-upload it. It's super pain. If you're in South Korea, they added gameplay timers and notices in compliance because they want you to know if you're gaming too much. Let's keep going here. Vanilla parity added the glow pattern on Bedrock. We'll show you it after. Raid boss bar now displays raid victory, and fireworks are launched from the ground after the raid is defeated. Villagers now make a no sound. I want to check that out. No, when you're attempting to make a trade that they're out of stock. Players no longer gain a particle effect when obtaining bad omen from pillager captains. Iron golems now show different degrees of cracking depending on their health. Iron ingots can be used to fix them, right? You're going to tap them with that iron, fix them up. Removed the emerald icon above the villager's head when trading. You know what? I kind of agree with that. I think it's kind of stupid to look at. I'm okay with that. Iron golems now only attack players that have a very bad standing in the village after attacking a villager. So maybe you have to really hit them and you can't just accidentally hit them. I think that's kind of the deal on that one. Glow lichen now has similar brightness to Java Edition. Foxes now aim downward when they pounce. Updated trade tables for butchers, cartographers, librarians, and wandering traders. Biome decoration features in cave biomes now have similar frequency as Java Edition. Adjusted the other side music disc to give off a redstone signal of 14 to match the Java Edition. Adjusted the pigstep music disc to do the same thing for 13. Updated textures for multiple blocks in the game to remove bugs and achieve parity between Bedrock Edition. These items include all of these items: lodestone compass, all the different doors, all the different signs, campfire, soul campfire, item frames, glowberry vines, comparator, and wither. Easy enough. Additional texture updates. They updated the glass pane to match Java. They fixed the top texture of the dark oak logs, dark oak side texture, dirt path side texture. They fixed a few different file names with regards to the textures. They reversed the parrot head and wing bottom texture. They moved the beetroot texture and melon seed texture 1 pixel row down to match the Java Edition. They also changed pixels in the cocoa bean stages, smooth stone texture, upper iron door, evokers, vindicators, witch, to match Java Edition. They changed the alpha values of blue and red stained glass to match Java Edition. They also did fixes to the hammer on the anvil screen, the planks on the cartographer table, the planks on the barrel, the lectern base texture, gold and diamond armor textures, carrot stage 3 texture, backs of axolotls, and the boat oars are now the same color as the boat. So let's just carry on. We'll just keep going here, guys. The experimental features, guys, make sure you turn on your toggle if you want to mess with these things. This is all of the new stuff that's going to be in the wild update that's here now under this toggle. So of course we have frogs and tadpoles. They're going to be in swamp biomes. They can croak, jump, swim, and walk on land. Frogs can eat slimes, then they drop a slime ball. In addition, we also have they can be tempted and bred using seagrass. This is just a placeholder for now. It's going to be something else. Frogs lay eggs after mating. Frog eggs hatch into tadpoles. Tadpoles that grow up turn into a frog. They can swim in water. Tadpoles jump around like fishes when on land and eventually die. They also grow up into a different type of frog based on the biome they were born in. Tadpoles can be caught in a bucket. Of course, frog light, there's going to be 3 different types: pearlescent, verdant, and ochre. They emit light, of course, and you can get them by having a frog eat a small magma cube, and one will drop. Each color drops for the different variants of frogs, and yeah, simple enough. Skulks, these blocks now appear accessible through this toggle. Again, not working almost at all, but still doing weird stuff if you want to check them out. So fixes for gameplay here is fixed an issue that could cause entities in a chunk not to save without exiting or when exiting a world. The game now loads certain seeds and worlds around mesa biomes without crashing. Fixed a crash that could occur when trading maps with cartographers. Fixed a crash that could occur when shift clicking armor in the crafting table when using Pocket UI. Fixed an issue where breaking blocks, opening chests, and entering portals could be delayed and would not work if there was lots of mobs nearby. Of course, they optimized the placement of the geode features in the worlds. Those are always weird. Reduced the amount of network packets sent. Blah blah blah. Gameplay changes. Boats no longer disappear when getting. Oh my god. Please, please, this is the best day of my whole entire life. That's one of the biggest changes, I think, in my opinion. Players can now use emotes when standing on scaffolding. Capped and freezing range of Frost Rocker enchantments to 8 blocks to avoid server unresponsiveness. The Iron Belly achievement can once again be unlocked. Players no longer hurt by their own armor enchantments such as thorns. Fixed a camera issue when entering a bed, still in glide mode. Pillager outposts, of course, will now spawn the correct number of pillagers and iron golems. So, second last page, let's keep going. World generation changes is large dripstone feature does not generate floating on top of lava anymore. Pointed dripstone clusters no longer have a chance of spawning only stalagmites of height 1. Pointed dripstone now sometimes generates on large stalactites and stalagmites. Lava pools now only generate in positive Y coordinates. Lava pools that generate close to Y0 will now have deep slate and stone block casing. Coral now generates in deeper depths of warm oceans. The Grove biome now has more variety of spruce trees. Very cool. Fixed mesa and frozen ocean biomes having inconsistent generation on realms. The bedrock layer in old world chunks is now replaced with deep slate between Y0 and 8. Copper ore can now generate in deep slate variant in dripstone caves. Ruined portals under ocean and swamps biomes are no longer waterlogged and will spawn dry. So I don't know exactly what that means. They're going to fill with water, I guess, after their spawn. That way they won't just be, you know, solid source blocks of water. I think that's a thing. Maybe you'll have some places to get air when you swim down to get it. Chests and monster spawners once again generate correctly in structures. The bottom of hoodoos in eroded beachlands, beach badland biomes no longer make flat ceilings in caves underneath. Let's go up a little bit. Lily pads no longer generate in aquifers under swamp biomes. Fossils can now be generated between Y0 with deep slate diamond ore blocks instead of coal ore blocks. Fossils will no longer generate floating in caves or water. Mineshafts now always generate above the bedrock layer. Iceberg features no longer replace snow blocks of igloo structures. Water in open-air mountain caves no longer generates unevenly. Aquifers no longer generate with missing water blocks. Mob changes. Villagers, rabbits, and foxes spawned in the frozen and jagged peaks biome will now spawn as their snowy variants. Goats now spawn in the jagged peaks and Frozen Peaks biomes. Axolotl walk animations are now affected by speed. Slimes are once again aggressive towards snow golems. Fixed a bug where the Ender Dragon would become invisible when flying towards the portal fountain after dying. When using the Education Edition toggle, all of these creatures now have balloons attached to them, so that's awesome. Skeleton horsemen now pathfind correctly. Farmer villagers no longer pick up more than 8 stacks of items. Untamed cats can now be leashed. Guardians and Elder Guardians no longer sync when targeting the enemy or player. Block changes, guys. Fire can no longer be placed on top of lightning rods. The width of the walls connecting to candles is now accurate. Improve the animation of falling block entities for, sand, gravel, anvils, things like that. Amethyst clusters are now properly destroyed when supporting block is destroyed. Copper blocks and variants now oxidize in the nether. Big drip leaf placement has been restricted to clay, dirt, farmland, moss, rooted dirt, podzol, and mycelium. They just want you to put them on certain things. Water blocks near edges will flow properly. They fixed monster spawners sometimes stopping spawning when the chunks they were placed in reloaded. Fixed end crystal beams not rendering when in an end city or when the end city was out of the player's sight. Fixed structure blocks infinitely spawning. The same entities when loaded in a structure. Structure block structures now correctly transform, rotate, and or mirror multi-phase blocks like the glow lichen. Big drip leaf, amethyst blocks, and amethyst clusters no longer breaks in structure blocks. Pointed dripstone can now only be placed on faces of blocks, full faces. Glow lichen is now oriented in the correct way when placed. Magma blocks no longer deal damage when the fire damage game rule is disabled. So, last page. Hey, that's not that bad, it's only like 20 minutes. Flower blocks are now properly destroyed when inside snow layers. Portal blocks are no longer obtainable in survival mode. We'll see about that. I doubt that'll be around for too long. Prime TNT will no longer explode when spawned using the summon command, and the game rule is disabled. Cocoa pods placed on chunk borders won't break anymore when you reload the world. Fixed observer block retaining its lit state while in the inventory if destroyed while blinking. Fixed an issue where paintings could overlap with glow item frames, signs, banners, and torches. Light block intensity can now be turned up and down by right clicking. Nice, I like that one. Light block intensity again can be changed on touch input devices. They can now be placed on other light blocks. You can adjust it in VR, and fixed light blocks not being continuously placed while holding the place. So last but not least, you can now put water on a light block, so that's pretty cool. Items furnaces now consistently output the expected number of items after completing a smelt. So excuse me, they were giving you the wrong amount. Stored experience in a furnace can no longer be duplicated. Boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, no more 100 levels by pressing a button. The bow shaking animation now only appears when the bow is fully drawn. Food once again applies the status effects when eaten. Offset the position of maps held in hand relative to the screen's aspect ratio, so they always stay close to the screen edge and remain fully visible. Item data no longer gets corrupted when items are placed in mobs' hands. Fixed first person offhand shield blocking animation. Accessibility changes, guys. The screen reader, they fixed the screen reader on save purchase to Minecraft account, and it correctly reads the names of the different toggles. Last but not least, guys, these are the user interface changes. Added appropriate padding to the item text name box under the user interface for when players have armor equipped in survival mode, and select items via the hotbar. So fixed an issue where text shadows had reduced offset when text message contained button glyph. Fixed an issue where with getting a faulty purchase page from realms for when the maximum number of realms has already been owned on the current platform. Fixed the achievement button not being accessible when scrolling up on the pause screen. Fixed the food cooldown visual not being semi-transparent on the HUD. Fixed the invite to game and player role buttons on the pause screen. They now have a white border when focused with custom resolution. The invite to game button on the pause screen now disables correctly when the server is full so that people can't join. Fixed tab order on the settings menu when navigating gamepad bumpers. Fix the height of the scrolling content panel in the marketplace sidebar for navigation. These are all pretty much just weird, you know, they just basically fixed animations, switched buttons up. Not much. You could read it if you want, but I pretty much had all my reading for the day. So we're in my world. Excuse me one more time. So let's do this. Let's have some fun. We have everything set up. So behind the experimental toggle, guys, let's just do the new stuff right away. So we have our new skulk blocks. These do various different things, but there's skulk vein that seems to spread. It seems to spread around on the different things. Whenever you do something with one of these skulk veins, and these other ones kind of make noise and they send off that weird echo beam. These things don't work exactly properly at the moment, but you pretty much have your skulk shrieker, your skulk vein, and all of these blocks will be part of the deep dark, warden, all of these things. They don't really have as much usage as the frogs at the moment. So we have our frog stuff. So here we have some magma cubes. That's cool. Let's go like this. I probably have frogs sitting around, I'm pretty sure. We're going to show you the pattern while we're here anyway. You know, let's do this. Let's just spawn us a frog. Yeah, so here's your frogs. They're going to be all over the world. This is the biome specific one for this region here. There is other colors, a green one, and a more, I think it's a white one, a whitish one. And yeah, so with it, in addition to this, if you have frogs and you have a little magma cube like this, you're going to see this guy. He's going to eat them like that, and you are going to get the corresponding frog light. And there you go. So that's a pretty simple one. These guys here are also going to lay their frog eggs on water at some point in time. They're going to be like, where's my water? Right here. So they're going to lay their frog eggs. They're going to live their frog lives. And yeah, there's going to be a tadpole in the water. And you can kind of see what a tadpole looks like here. I guess I could probably try to do it right there. And you can watch him fall on the floor. But yeah, tadpole swims around in the water. Wherever he goes, he's going to flop around and turn into a frog. And that's it. Depending on the zone that he's in, that's the color. We've pretty much covered that skulks, frogs, tadpole, frog lights are all under experimental toggle. So the main gameplay changes that were fixed was the boat, guys. Number one, big change. The boat doesn't disappear when you get out of it. It's been making me super duper mad. So you can see right here the tadpoles popped out of the frog eggs. So once these guys kind of, you know, grow up a little bit, there's a little tadpole right there, and we'll have frogs. So yeah, here's a globe pattern right here. This is the pattern that's been brought over to Bedrock Edition, or the banner pattern anyway. Looks cool, looks fun, easy enough. A lot of, guys, there's been a lot of pixel changes. So I guess in Minecraft, you know, the difference between Java and Bedrock often in these things is there's a lot of texture issues. You know, I'm gonna just move up. There's a lot of texture issues because, you know, I think when you're dealing in Java Edition or people are making it in Bedrock, it's two different types of code. So it's not really like, you know, they're not cutting and pasting the same Oakwood planks to Java Edition. They're actually going in and creating the same thing and putting it into that form of code. And sometimes when that happens, things are different. So like, you know, if people are making a lectern, you know, the bottom of the lectern has oak pattern, or even the sides of the bookshelves here, things get messed up in the process. And you know what? People on Reddit start being like, oh my God, how dare you? We need you to fix the glass panes, the lodestones, the oak doors. And, you know, and that was pretty much, you know, one page of our whole changelog here. In addition to that, we have pretty much a lot of, you know, stability fixes, things like that. A lot of light block stuff. So that's the other thing. We have the light block around here. I think I'm probably... So basically the light block's a big deal now because you can now see them when they're all together. So light blocks are used to create light to create light when you're like building in creative and you don't want anybody to see it. So you can only see the light block when it's there. But the other thing is now I think you have to have an empty hand here. So now you can right click the light block. So if this was in another mode, you could go like this. You would be able to right click the light block by shifting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm doing it right here. Basically, long story short is the light block will now go up and down based on what you have. And there was a point in time when you couldn't see it as well. There was a problem where if you didn't have it in your hand, you couldn't see it at all. So that wouldn't be good. And we want that. So they changed a bunch of villager trades in that hullabaloo there. We also watched this guy here, the Wandering Trader, got some changes. And the Iron Golem, there's the big one right here. I guess we could give ourselves some iron if we truly want. And I put this Iron Golem here to show this the first time it came out in the beta. So yeah, Iron Golems will now damage on Bedrock Edition, just like on Java Edition. And when they're injured, I just cured him a little bit by pressing that. He's only a little bit damaged. And yeah, that's it pretty much, guys, more or less. Realms changes is going to be a big deal too. I really enjoy the Realms changes because you don't have to download. Before you had to download your world, take it back, rechange it, update your coordinates, and then re-upload it. And no, not anymore. That's not how it works. Done, done, and done. Stay tuned because this means the new beta stuff coming out is going to be probably these working, Skulks doing something, maybe a Deep Dark and a Warden, something along those lines. How awesome is that, guys? Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one.